Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave
Swamiji is
Namaha.
muted.
Okay. Now you're okay? Now you can hear?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay, thank you. So last week we were seeing the Bhutakash, the Chittakash and the Chidakash, and that Chidakash is the pure self, and there that the duality appears in the Chittakash, and that duality then concretizes as subject and matter in the or more as matter in the Bhutakash, and our attention must go to the space and to the consciousness that is pervading the space. So here we are in, I think we are in verse number OV number 203. When it comes to one's own essential being self-effulgent, no other authority is needed to declare that I is. So no praman is required, no authority is required, no means are required, no examples are required, no similes are required. दिसे ते निदृश्याभासे म्हणावे ना देखिले ऐसे तरी दृश्यास्तव दिसे ऐसे नाही. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, can't we say that the seer, the drashta, has seen the seen drushya? Hence the latter exists, but the pure self does not depend upon the presence of the seer for its existence. You have to be very cool in thinking this thought that is being presented, and this if done wrongly, it will give you a headache. So when it says that in general it is seen that the drashta, the seer, and has seen the seen, that is the drishya. Experiencer has experienced the experienced object. The hearer has heard of the sound. The taster has tasted the tasted vastu or thing, whatever it is. And therefore, in the relative world, we take it for granted that the object is real, that the object exists, because I am there as the experiencer of that object. Whether it is inert, whether it is subtle, whether it is causal, whether it is at thought level, whether it is, as we saw in the previous thing, as the Chittakash, Bhutakash, Chittakash. But when it comes to Chidakash, when it comes to here the Chidakash state, the pure that is the pure consciousness, there you don't need an experiencer to experience the Chidakash. You need an experience for Bhutakash because you are there, you are seeing the space, it is my experience. In Chittakash, I am there because when I wake up from the dream, I know there was a space in which the whole dream world was existing. But when it comes to Chidakash, I don't need any proof. I don't need any experience. I don't need any observer in order to know the Chidakash, because I myself am the Chidakash. I myself am the supreme Supreme Consciousness. One moment. So our Swamiji gives the commentary. I, the pure absolute knower, is the Chidakash. The space is Chit alone. So, why we come to this conclusion? This analysis has been done before by Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Space as such, emptiness or nothingness, it's not a thing. We give it a word Akasha, but when we say Chidakasha, it is, remember what we say, the word says conscious space. But because we have used the word space, it has come from this language is coming from relativity, and when we analyze the emptiness, the void, the nothingness, we come to realize that there is nothing called as emptiness. There is nothing called as nothingness. It is only a relative term which has been coined in order to understand the creation. And because that is our, at the relative level, that is our experience. Waking and dream are the conscious or gross or the subtle experience, and absence of the two is called as deep sleep. That deep sleep is the state of emptiness, the state of void. Similarly, when we make it more subjective, when we come between the two thoughts, between the two breaths, what is there? So previous breath was not there, the later breath was not there. What is in between? Absence of the previous or the latter. And what is that absence? Emptiness. But emptiness is not a thing. And this is what this language has to be resorted in our mind. We have become so addicted to thinking that there is something and there is nothing. No, instead of nothing, it is only the consciousness itself. So between the two breaths, who is there? It's not nothing, it's you. Between the two thoughts, it's not nothing, it's you are there. Therefore, our I think in Patanjali Yoga Sutra it comes that between the two breaths you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. You are conscious of yourself. But we are addicted to manifestation and unmanifestation. And therefore that is the language, and that we keep repeating it again and again in our mind and get caught up. But here we are not on the subject of being caught up, we are on the subject of the pure knowledge or the pure the absolute reality. Just as the Bhutakash is the gross field of experience, the Chittakash is the subtle field of experience. The Chitta or the mind where the thoughts and dreams take place. But in the Chidakash, there is no knower known difference. So, in the Bhutakash, there is no subject and object difference. In Chittakash, there is no known difference at a subtle level. But in Chidakash, there is no duality present. But in the Chidakash, there is no knower known difference. In the pure consciousness, there is no value for experience either of the Chittakash or the Bhutakash. And in this way, keep ascertaining this on in your mind that you are that pure consciousness, you are that Chidakash, in whom, and I shouldn't say in whom, because Chidakash is one without a second. There is no this Chidakash word, just like we saw in previous chapter. Sat Chit Anand was word used to negate the Asat, Achit and Dukkham. Similarly, Chidakash is another word coined here by the teacher, by Jnaneshwar Maharaj, or by our scriptures, to 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 make us understand in this relative world that this is our experience. Our experience is of the bhuta, or the gross, the chitta, that is subtle, and chidakas, which is the chidakash, which is the absolute, where no duality at all presents itself. What does it mean that duality doesn't present itself? Means you as the experiencer are not available to the duality. Is it there? For other people it may be there, but what about you? You are not available. The waking world is created by the Lord. It is Ishvara Dvaita. There is nothing one can do about to change it or wipe it out. So once again, we did not, if you want to take it, that the waking world is the creation of the Lord, and and because he created it, we cannot do anything about the world that he created. If you want to look at it this way, that when you came into this creation, the creation was there. If you want to say it that way, when you wake up, the creation is there. Who created? If you say I created, which is not far from truth, but it leads to a big ego. So what do we say? We say it is the Ishvara, who himself divided himself into as the creator and the created. And because he has created the space, air, fire, water, earth, and all the variety, he himself has become everything. And we cannot do anything about that world which he has created. But where does, and this is the Ishvara Dvaita, and the other is the Jiva Dvaita, the duality of the Jiva. And this is where the Swamiji says the problem begins when one creates a Dvaita within a Dvaita. And that is the Jiva Dvaita. Jiva Dvaita, the duality of the Jiva. Ishvara's duality, Ishvara is not affected. He is the witness of all that is going on. His Shakti is manifesting as the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. She creates the 5 elements. She creates the various lokas, etc., etc. But the Ishvara is unaffected, unperturbed, unentangled, unhijacked by the whole Prakriti. But within that Prakriti of the Ishvara, and in that Prakriti of the Ishvara, all of us are also there. All the beings with all individual consciousnesses. This till here is the Ishvara Prakriti. Manifestation of the body and expression of the consciousness through the body. This is Ishvara Srishti. This is God's creation. But then, where is individual creation? Individual creation is our acceptance, that our identification that I am only this body. This is where the individual creation becomes a problem and leads to suffering. And this body is mine, that body is not mine. This laptop is mine, that laptop is not mine. These memories are mine, apart from this memory, I don't know anything. Therefore, the more the seeker's attention is on this absolute aspect of our being, all the relativity disappears from his perception. That is the smartest way, that is the most efficient way of unclogging your mind from all the memories and thoughts and becoming immune. Initially immune, eventually they get dissolved. Dissolved does not mean that they will stop coming in your mind. Dissolved means you are no longer available to those thoughts, to those memories. Why? you are not available? Because you are established, you have established yourself in yourself as the pure consciousness, because you were always that. There is no establishment as such, but just for the communication purpose we are saying that. And from the, just as from water's point of view, there is no ocean or wave possible, duality. Similarly, from the pure consciousness that I am, from that point of view, there is no duality possible. What is the duality? The subject and the object. What is the duality? Waker and the waking world, dreamer and the dream world. All this is only a figment of imagination, you may say, or it has got no reality when looked at or when we are established in the pure self. Then what would it be then? Then it will be, the examples will come now. I gave one example in the meditation. The example is that of the mirror. You see duality in the mirror, that you are standing outside the mirror, but you see the image of yourself in the mirror. Looking at the mirror, you comb yourself, you shave yourself, you tidy up your face, but you know you're looking at the mirror, the image in the mirror, but you're working on yourself. You never forget for even a moment that that image is illusory. That image is not real. I am the real. Exactly the same way. And this is an unspoken disposition of yours. You don't have to practice that. So we can say the person who's standing in front of the mirror, he is not affected by the image. He is not affected by the opposite form that is appearing in the image. It looked exactly like you. Only right ear is left ear, right eye is left eye, everything is opposite. But you don't take it to be real. The self is not the knower because of the known. See? Subject and object, when this play comes about, the seer and the seen, knower and the known, experiencer and the experienced, then in this case, question is, do I accept myself as the seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, thinker, feeler, knower, experiencer? If I accept myself to be that, then this experience is experiencer, knower, seer is dependent on the experienced, on the seen, on the known. But the self is independent of all the objects. And therefore, recognize this even while moving through this world, that let the mind be let the mind say, I see, I hear, I touch, I feel. But you know within that you are the witness. See? Because this I comes with every, I, the subject, comes with every object and then goes away. I see, goes away. I hear, then it goes away. I feel, then it goes away. How can that be you? Are you coming and going? You are permanent. So this permanent I is other than the I in the mind, which is appearing on account of its relationship with the object. And that one I am not. The suffering begins, the problems begin, the samsara begins when we consider ourselves to be that relative I, which is propped up on account of the objects. Therefore, any attempt on the part of the seeker to understand the truth only takes him further away from it. Because of this finite I, which is appearing on account of some object, subject object relationship is going on, and this I is thinking aham brahmasmi, this I is thinking I am the absolute self, this I is thinking I am that. It can never come to realize that infinite reality. Reality cannot be crystallized into an experience by the mind. Therefore, it is said in Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Mind cannot comprehend the reality. And what is mind? Nothing but a play between subject and object. And as long as on the seat of meditation, we are trying to objectify the reality, meaning I understand the self, but I want to have an experience of the self. I want to have an experience of the God. I want to see Him like I see every object. Because we are predominantly going through this world as a seer, as a knower with respect to seen and known. The same set of rules we want to employ in the realm of pure consciousness also, in the realm of reality. It doesn't work. Relativity has different set of rules, and in the pure consciousness there are no rules because it's one without a second. This is the warning that the preceptor gives to the students in Keno Upanishad. Oh, we did this verse last week, but anyway. If you think you have understood, it is but little. There the teacher, when asked by the student, tell me what is that which inspires the seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting with the various senses, the teacher answers to the student that it is the eye of the eye, it is the ear of the ear, it is the nose of the nose, and when it comes to the mind, it's the mind of the mind, it's the intellect of the intellect, and the student gets thoroughly confused because it's a language which he has never heard before. He wants to understand everything objectively. Can't you give me a straight answer? The teacher says, this is how my teacher taught me, so I am teaching you the same way. The understanding is that it cannot be understood. What cannot be understood? The truth cannot be understood. What are we studying scriptures for? If you are studying the scriptures, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is commentary on this Amrutanubhava or Jnaneshwari or the Upanishads and their Bhashya by Shankaracharya, etc., etc. If you are doing it to understand, then you are losing the plot. Then what do you have to do? While studying, your attention must go to the principle, the pure self, which is you. You must dissolve while listening. But then why do we have to understand why people... See, understanding is required initial stages. Why? Because you understand your set of rules by which you experience the world. Here, the teacher is putting across to you a new set of rules, a new set of rules of engagement by which the mind will dissolve, by which you will become immune to the subject-object relationship, which was your norm before. Being the self is not the norm. It is your natural state. Well, it is the norm. It is more norm than what you think is the norm. So, therefore, first we have to replace that old knowledge with this knowledge. And while you are replacing with this knowledge, either you can directly come to your essential nature, or penultimate step, you first understand where you have so that you have got no doubt as regards your previous way of engagement with subject and object. Now you are understanding once and for all that the subject object game cannot be applied with reference to the self. Self is independent, self is satantra, self is self-existing, self-knowing. Mind cannot come to know it. And the game of subject-object is only in the mind. This is what the teacher here is emphasizing. The truth cannot be objectified. The I, the pure self, is independent of all the three planes of consciousness. What are the three planes of consciousness? Waking, dream, deep sleep, gross, subtle, causal, or these are the three planes of consciousness. As well as the fourth state of samadhi, the turiya, the fifth state I am. Even the turiya, the samadhi, we call it the nirvikalpa samadhi, even I am beyond that, because samadhi also comes and goes. Therefore, the drashta, the seer, is not because of the drishya. The true drashta, the ultimate, the supreme seer, is not because of the seen. Because both are in the pure self, which is independent of both. Just like the ocean and the wave are in the water itself, they don't have independent existence apart from the water. The necklace and the anklet both are in the gold, they don't have independent existence apart from the gold. Similarly, the subject and object do not have an independent existence, they are part and parcel of the pure consciousness. They are made up of pure consciousness. They don't have an independent existence apart from pure consciousness. But as an individual, we don't see it that way. This is table, this is me, and that is the sofa. This is me. Which me? Is it the mental me or the pure me, the pure self? Truth is not an object of knowledge through the sense organs or the mind or the speech. It is the light of pure consciousness that the sense organs, etc., are able to function. It is that essence, it is that spark, it is that light of consciousness. When it starts expressing, it is called as life, and it is that life which, because of which the senses, mind, and intellect are able to operate. If that, just like the without the electricity, which is unseen, the light cannot express through the bulb. See, bulb has got no importance at all if there is no electricity flowing through it. It cannot give light by itself. Similarly, all these bulbs, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, knowing, thinking, feeling, all these are different instruments. They have got no meaning if the life is not expressing through them. They activate their potential. Therefore, how can the instruments of knowledge ever illumine the pure knowledge? If the senses, mind, and intellect, they are the instruments, they are dependent on the life principle, which in turn is the pure consciousness. How can that which is dependent become the illuminator of the source? It is not possible. Think in this manner. All relative perceptions are null and void. Only the absolute truth prevails. So, from the absolute truth, the pure consciousness point of view, all opposites are null and void. They are neutralized. When we think in this manner, that everything is in the pure consciousness. That you are, my friends. How more clear can the teacher make it for us? How is it possible to have a subject without an object? Oh, yes. Again, another question. Subject is only there because of object. Object is there only because of subject. But here we are talking about the absolute subject, the absolute witnessing consciousness. How can it be without anything to be witnessed? How can the self exist without something to be experienced, to be known? दृश्य दृष्टि सी दिसे तरी साच की दृष्टा असे आता नाही ते कैसे देखिले होय. The scene is only apparent to the eyes, but in essence it is the witness alone. How can that appearance which does not exist be seen? The scene is only apparent. The seer, because my eyes are there, I perceive the objects that are seen immediately in the mind. The seer is born. That seer is apparent. What does apparent mean? Apparent means that which appears but actually is not there. So this seer, which is born with reference to the scene, he is apparent. He is appearing but actually is not there. And what is the definition of apparency? That which is apparent, it is ephemeral. Ephemeral, apparent. In Sanskrit, the word is mithya, which exists in its own absence. What exists in its own absence? Everything that is finite, everything that is coming and going, everything that is born will one day die, everything that is temporary, all this is mithya. In other words, the whole creation, gross, subtle and causal, is nothing but mithya. In other words, it is all apparent. Oh, does that mean all our thoughts are also apparent? Absolutely. Which means the study of the scripture is also apparent? Yes. I have understood. Is this statement apparent? Yes. It is also mithya. So how can that appearance which does not exist be seen from the absolute standpoint? From absolute standpoint, say take the standpoint of water. Water does not see anything but water. And therefore there is no dialogue. Therefore there is no communication. How can you have communication with yourself? You can only have communication with something other than yourself. See? So in this verse, in the 204th OV, Swamiji says, it is true that the object of knowledge, drishya, is known by the seen drashta. Out of these two, the seer and the seen, which is the reality? Yes. Seen is inert, seer is conscious. So we will say initially that the seer is the reality. The seen is established only with reference to the seer. If there is no seer to see, the seen cannot be established to exist. But how do we live? I live. What is my life has got no meaning if I don't have a house of which I can call my own. My life has got no meaning if the body is not healthy. My life has got no meaning if I don't get what I want in life. My life has got no meaning if I don't get the job that I want. My life has got no meaning without my children, without my husband or wife or parents. And such people suffer. Because where you have put all the eggs of your basket? In someone else's pocket. And who are you? You are the source. Living as a dependent. If you are not there as the knower, experiencer, as the individual, the conscious person, if you are not there, is relationship possible? Is health or ill health possible? Nothing is possible if the consciousness is not there, even at a relative level. In deep sleep, you are not there as a relative. You are not there as a body also. You are not there as a thinker also. Your mind is also not there. Does it mean that you have become absent? So here teacher is saying, if there is no seer to see, the seen cannot be established to exist. And this is the rule. The seer is there, but he is not seeing in deep sleep. And therefore there is no object to be cognized. Think. But when the seen is removed, the seer continues to see the absence of that particular object, the seen. Therefore, the seer is the reality. See? Without the seer, seen cannot be seen. If the seen is removed, the seer, which we were thinking ourselves to be with reference to the seen, have we also vanished from the seen? Because the seen is gone, therefore I am not. That's the nihilist philosophy. We are not going there. If the seen is not there, seen object is not there, gross, subtle or causal, I still continue to be. I see the absence of that object. And that absence of the object in positive terms is called as Chidakash. Excuse me. Where no objectivity is present. If the seen is not the reality, how then can there be a seer? If the seen, which has no independent existence, is not the reality, it means it does not exist. If so, how can the seer see it? This is the question. Who will see what? But the Supreme Presence is fully aware of itself and by itself. The moment the attention is on the supreme substratum of the totality, which is one without a second, I, the Supreme, alone prevails in every transaction. And what is this Supreme prevails in every transaction? That I remains unperturbed. Whether there is presence of seen or absence of seen, it continues to be. So suddenly now what we have, with this understanding what has happened, we have dropped the finite I as a thought and we have taken the place as the witnessing consciousness. And from the witnessing consciousness's point of view, everything is consciousness alone. That witnessing, just like from the gold's point of view, everything is gold alone. But people call, the moment you come into it, people call, oh, this is the ornament, this is an anklet, this is a bracelet, this is the earrings. Similarly, the moment one comes to be the pure self, at that very moment, all the finitude, all the finite seen and the finite seer, I, the finite seer, see, and the finite objects, all of them become null and void. They cross cancel each other. The subject cancels the object, and in its place, the true seer, the absolute I, it alone remains. It was always there, but before we were hijacked by the thoughts. We were hijacked by the temporary I which was coming and going with every thought. I see, I hear, I touch, I feel, I know, I know my past, I know, I want to know my future, I fear, I am angry. This it creates another idiot called the ego. And we have accepted ourselves to be that idiot. Here, this the Jnaneshwar Maharaj is helping us to recognize we are not this idiot. We are not even to understand that we are not that idiot. We have to understand that we are not this temporary I thought which comes and goes with every object. And that is our experience also. We see so many eyes taking place in the waking, taking place in the dream, and not taking place in the deep sleep state. This is our direct experience. And when there is nothing to this, the I does not appear in the deep sleep state because there is no scene. There is no seer. Both are coexisting with each other. Does that mean that I have become absent? No. When I take a chill pill and look at the whole experience, I see that I am always there, witnessing the appearance of waking and dream and disappearance of the disappearance of the both. And when we take that to a subtle level on the seat of meditation, then initially many thoughts are coming and going. Then we replace them by our Om or some whatever mantra you have, and slowly, either that mantra becomes a japa jap. We come to realize that we are the witness of the thought going on in the mind. With that, a realization comes, hey, I am not the mind. And the moment this realization comes, I am not the mind, then who am I? I am the one who is witnessing. Who is this witness in that process of U-turn into yourself? Everything stops without going to sleep. At that time, when you make the U-turn, the obstacle that appears is the sleep. In this way, it is not, if seen is not the reality, how then can there be a seer? If the seen, which has no independent existence, is not the reality, it means it does not exist. If so, how can the seer see it? Who will see what? But the Supreme Presence is fully aware of itself and by itself. The Supreme Presence, who is the Supreme Presence? In whose presence the waking, dream and the deep sleep are happening. Right now, where are you? In the waking state. That Supreme Presence is still there. But we are so addicted, so caught up, so entangled in this duality that we are unable to take a step back. Where do you take the step back? On the seat of meditation. Do meditation every day. Quieten down your mind. In a quietened mind, it becomes crystal clear that you are not the mind. You are other than it. The moment the attention is on the supreme substratum or of the totality, which is one without a second, I, the supreme alone, prevails in every transaction. See? This is what in yesterday's Adhyatma Ramayana appeared as Swayam Prabha, self-effulgence. Self is self-effulgent. The moment you put your attention, when you put your attention outside, either you are a father, a mother, a daughter, a sister, whatever, some relationship will be created. When you withdraw your senses, withdraw your mind and put the attention on the self, now what relationship will be created? You are the subject and your attention is on the object called the self alone, and it can never be objectified. How do we objectify the self? By saying aham, I, the relative self, I am the Brahman, which is the absolute self. Is that statement, can that statement bring about any experience? Cannot. Because both you are only. As much as I may try, if I try to look by my physical eyes at themselves, they illuminate the whole world. But with the same eyes, if I try to illuminate the source of this illumination, the eyesight or the vision, can I ever do it? Is it going to be possible? And what will happen if I try that? When I shift my vision from outside to its source, all the colors and forms, they start vanishing from my vision. Everything starts vanishing. Same way, when the mind, who is owning the mind? I. When that I starts, that mind through the I or as the I starts searching for its source within, the mind becomes empty. The mind becomes zero. The self doesn't become zero. The mind becomes zero. Of what? Of all subjects and objects, of all relativity. And what remains at that time? All that remains is, so this is two things are happening. On one hand, one is dukkha nivritti, nironkosha tripti. Just like a coin has two sides. Similarly, when we shift, our mind shifts its attention towards the self, which cannot be known by the mind, at that moment two things happen. One is the mind becomes completely devoid of all the thoughts, and in its place, and on the positive side, the self reveals. And when the self reveals, what will happen? Everything becomes divinized. Like we said yesterday in Ramayana, when the sun rises, everything is illumined by the light of the sun. There is no darkness anywhere. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Everything becomes divinized by the light of consciousness. Then what is that? Every thought, if there is a thought, the entire empirical, entire phenomena, the waking dream and deep sleep. I'm talking loudly here. Everything becomes divinized. Every person, every space, time, objectivity, people, relationships, everything gets divinized. It does not mean that now you start seeing God in everyone. That our Bhagavad explains. The transformation of the vision of the gopis was they saw Krishna, Krishna everywhere. So how do you put this across, this divinization of the self, where when you have come back to your essential nature, what is the disposition of such a person, if we can call it a disposition? What is the disposition of the water towards everything? Multitude of waves and many oceans. What is the disposition of the gold towards all the ornaments? That was explained in the Ras Leela or the Gopika Geet, where the gopis see everywhere Krishna, Krishna. Their vision has become Krishnamaya. This is the transformation that comes about. Then such a person is fully independent, fearless, not dependent on anything or anyone, because he is everything and everyone. He doesn't say that because he has withdrawn from that mind. He has gone beyond the mind, but not now. In our scriptures, in our chanting, we chant Om Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. Now, such a seeker, when he has come to abide in his essential nature, now when he opens his eyes or when his mind has divinized, then what is the case? Then every body I am, every sense organ in every body I am, every mind I am, then every thought I am, then every seer I am, every scene I am. This is what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying. He is a realized master. It is not a statement of ego. Then the Supreme alone prevails in every transaction. He is the controller and the controlled. He is the creator and he is the created. We don't even have anything in our experience where we are the controller and we are the controlled also. To that extent, small things, yes. I am the body, and I am the controller of this body, and this body is the controlled. I am the controlled also. So I the body, I the controller, and I the controlled body. Then will I exercise any will on this body if I am the controller and I am the controlled also? No will. Will I be afraid of this body? No, because there is no difference between the two. Only as appearance, the controller and controlled opposites are appearing. In essence, they are the same. The pure consciousness, no fear. Same way in the subtle mind, subject also I am, object also I am. We go around with phobias, we go around with fear, we go around with what is going to happen to this world after. Is there a third world war coming, or this is happening, or that is happening? I should not do this, I should not do that. I should not hurt this person by saying this, or I should not get hurt. This is at the relative level, but both the seer and the seen, the experience and the experienced are nothing but the pure consciousness that I am. There is no difference between existence and consciousness, between Sat and Chit. It is present in the presence of the waking and the dream planes of consciousness. It is also present in the absence in the deep sleep state. Who is present? The Satchidanand Swarup principle, the presence, the witness, the Sakshi Chaitanya It is always present in spite of all changes. And that I am should be our conclusion. There is no doubt about that. How this supreme I, which is independent of the manifestation of the trio, is not touched by them is exemplified by a few examples. How this supreme I, how this witnessing consciousness, how this the I which is beyond the relative I which is coming and going. Which is the relative I? The waker I, the dream I, the sleep I. And within the waking, so many eyes are there. I the father, I the mother, I the daughter, I the sister, I the waker. In the dream also similarly, so many eyes are there. And in deep sleep, the absence of the eye is there. But that presence, that witness, is he coming and going? No. How this witnessing I, this Sakshi Chaitanya, is untouched by the triputi. The triputi, seer, seen, seeing, hearer, heard, hearing, knower, known, knowing, or if you put all of them in one package, shorten subject, object, and instrument of knowledge. How these three, the triputi, is unable to affect the Sakshi Chaitanya. Yes, for that, the examples are taken. मुखदिसो का दर्पणी परी असणे की तये मुखपणी तरी झाली ते वायाणी pratiti ki. Even if the face is seen in the mirror, the face is in its own place, independent of its reflection. So what is seen in the mirror is meaningless. We took this example, but in the meditation also, but let's look. When one stands before the mirror, one accepts that there is a reflection and that there is the trio of the experiencer. So there is a seer, there is a seen reflection, and there is an instrument of seeing, which is the vision, which is taking place. The trio of the experiencer, the experienced, and the experience. But one should not get carried away by this. Carried away by what? Carried away by the trio, the triputi. Just because the reflection is seen, it is not the reality. The reality is the original face. Is there any difficulty in understanding this? I hope not. That when you are standing in front of the mirror, I am seeing myself in the mirror. This thought is there. And this also knowledge is there that I have not gone anywhere. I am still where I am. Yet the image is getting created. This is also the realization that I am the original one and that is the fake one. That is only a reflection. That is unreal. I am the real one. And if the reflection is not seen because of the absence of the mirror, that does not mean that the face does not exist. If the mirror is taken away, does it mean that I have gone away? If the reflection is taken away, I continue to exist. If the wife goes away from in front of the husband goes away. Man continues to be. Then the child comes. Then the father appears. Then the child goes away. The father goes away. But the man continues to exist. And so forth. Exactly the same way. You are in front of the mirror is taken away, you continue because you are the original. Exactly the same way, in the mirror of the mind, the waker and the waking experience came. That went away. I continue to be. Then the dreamer and the dream experience came. That went away. I continue to be. Then the sleeper and the no experience happened. That also went away. I continue to be. So the witnessing consciousness, the Sakshi Chaitanya, it is unaffected, uninfluenced, undisturbed by appearance or disappearance of the mind. And that mind is then expressing itself as the waking experience, the dream experience, and the sleep experience. which is no experience. Existence is not in the reflection, it is in the face proper. Similarly, the trio does not require the support of absolute existence, the supreme I, but if there is no trio, it does not mean that the supreme I is not existing. See? The trio requires the supreme I in order to express. The reflection in the mirror requires the original face to be there. Without the original face, the reflection will not appear. Without the Supreme Self, the mind will not appear. As the waker, dreamer, or sleeper, all the trios. So, does that mean I am because the waking is there, I am because the dream is there, I am because the sleep is there? Or because I am, therefore, the game of waking, dream, and deep sleep is happening? Whether it is happening or not happening, I am unaffected. Be that way. But our life is contrary. It is not that because there is experience, the reality is. It is because of the reality that there is experience. Same thing in different words. No mortal lives by the prana or apana, but these too depend on the touch of the glorious self, Kathopanishad. So what is the position of the reflection? Independent of the face, it has no meaning at all. Independent of the original pure consciousness, the reflection. What is the reflection? The trio, the triputi, the waker, waking experience and the waking world. Waker, waking world and the waking experience. Dreamer, dream world and the dream experience. It has got no meaning if the original is not there. And who is the original? The one who knows that every day this triputi of waking, dream and deep sleep is coming and going. Now find out which one you are. And with this analysis, bring your attention to the right place. Be attentive rather than get carried away by the triputi. Let's be attentive of the original. The reflection of the stick in the water is not affected either by the agitation of the water or by sticking a knife through it or in any other way. The reflection appears as if it is dancing or as if it is cut, but in reality, nothing happens to it because the reflection, is not real. This is how people used to heal themselves, if they could. This is the ultimate healing. By being the original. There is no coming back to the original. By being the original. Recognize everything else is only ephemeral. Everything else is only temporary. Everything else is only a projection. Everything else is only a mithya. In the same way, the trio of the experiencer, etc., of the individuality are mutually cancelling each other, and there is no reality about these triputis, be it of the waking or dream state, but that because of which the triputi is sustained is the reality. So seeing the reflection of the face in the mirror is only an illusory existence. So right now we are in the waking state. We are talking in the waking state. You are thinking in the waking state. You are listening in the waking state. I am talking in the waking state. Or hopefully we are all waking in the waking, not sleeping at the moment. In this waking state, so many triputis are happening. In my mind, in the mind, the thoughts are coming and expressing as words. This is a phenomena. Do I consider myself at this moment to be the speaker, or do I consider at this moment myself to be the absolute self in the presence of whom the speaker spoken to and the speaking are happening? This alertness has to be there. When this clarity is there, then the reflection of the face in the mirror has got no meaning, because it is totally dependent upon the original. It's only phenomena. Similarly, waking is a phenomena, dream is a phenomena, sleep is a phenomena. You are the original. You are the original. The moment you accept yourself to be the phenomena, everything will start affecting you. The screen of the theater is the original. Everything else appearing on it is a phenomena. When we are attentive about the phenomena, not about the screen, we cry, we laugh, we jump out of our seats, we become afraid of the fighting, etc., etc. That is enhanced by the sound effects. Think. In this way, recognize everything is only an illusion. All triputis are illusion. All experiences are illusory. You are the original, in whose presence the whole phenomena is taking place. In this way, tune yourself up with yourself. Stop being who you are not. This is the message of our Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Living at the triputi level, living at the referential level is the way of the ignorant. Living at the absolute level is the way of the wise. Contemplate in this manner and realize. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.